She's gone. Setsuna?
On the next all-new episode of Yashahime, Princess Half-Demon.
Aha! So you're finally awake!
Princess Aya, what are you... and where...
I had you carried to my father's mansion.
What have you got me in?
Well, I think you look real nice in that.
In a kimono? Ridiculous!
Yashahime, Princess Half-Demon. Next Saturday at 12:30.
Sounds like Princess Aya's up to her old tricks again.
Only Toonami on Adult Swim.
The following program may contain coarse language, suggestive dialogue, and discussion of violent imagery and sexual situations. It is intended for mature listeners who can tell the difference between facts and opinions.
Primal is all the rage on this episode of the Toonami Faithful Podcast. I am your host, Sketch, and with me, I have...
Here's Samurai Darrell Maddox.
And...
Editor-in-Chief at ToonamiFaithful.com, CJ Maffris.
And...
Queen of the feline primal urges, Kuro. You're welcome.
I need that part cut out completely.
No,
we do not
boy.
It was so good. Don't do that.
No.
We were having a nice podcast here, and you just had...
get the TikTok stuff, like you said.
That will do it. That will do it.
That'll do it.
Copy paste. We're done with the podcast, guys. You can follow us at ToonamiFaithful.com.
Come on.
Let's do it. Okay.
Bad Kuro.
Sorry.
Yes, welcome to another episode of the Toonami Faithful Podcast, where we are all dealing with our primal urges. Apparently. We are here to discuss the first 6 episodes of the second season of Gendy Tartakovsky's Primal, which has been airing on Toonami, and we've all been very much enjoying it.
Yeah. Come on. Like, I was waiting for the episode where they were going to have a Meg, and they gave me that, and I'm so...
You didn't have to wait long.
No.
You got it days before Shark Week.
The perfection of that. Oh, I just can't express it.
Can we talk about the fact that there were 2 Shark Week Toonami intros? Well...
Hey, I'm of the mind we don't need a
Corpus
shark
energy.
week. We need a shark month.
No. If you do that, you ruin it.
What?
Okay, maybe a month. A month would be okay.
Yes.
Look here, dude. That's just like the equivalent of getting another goddamn Sharknado movie. No!
I'm be down for another Sharknado.
There's already been so many
movies.
Go to the goddamn corner
How
right
many
now,
Sharknado movies have there? Hasn't there been like 5 of them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Too damn many.
That's a matter of opinion. And I probably agree with it.
Don't make me go and get some damn bourbon, man, because
Yeah. Well, I guess we're just going to get right into talking about Primal. Though, if memory serves, I don't know if we've actually talked about Season 1.
We did. I hosted. Gosh,
right.
I'm so sad that you don't even remember. Am I not that memorable, really?
That's not it. I'm just a forgetful person.
Sure. It's a terrible
he's getting up in age,
Y'all,
Kuro.
Sketch is full of it. I hosted and it was amazing, and you all have to listen. We talked about Season 1, and we talked about some other stuff, too. We talked about, what's it called? Yashahime.
I remember. I was on that episode.
Yes, you
That's why I was
were.
like, this actually happened. It was me, you, Celia, and Laser?
No, and, Sketch.
Was it Sketch?
Yes.
How the fuck do you forget
How
that
many
she was
of
on a
these
podcast,
things are you
man?
doing? You can't remember.
Look, we've done over 400 episodes.
Okay, I don't even remember, man, because I'm rarely on podcasts these days, man.
Sorry, I'm just.
You know what? It might have been the one where we talked about Lupin. Maybe I'm wrong. I actually can't remember. It was one of the few that I hosted, though. That's all I can say. I know that I hosted it.
I remember talking about Primal, so I think it was the Yashahima one.
Could have been.
Or I'm wrong completely, and you hosted it, and I'm just getting old and my memory is failing me.
I certainly haven't. I haven't hosted a podcast in a while.
Well, I mean, we've definitely talked about Primal before, but I mean, like, really discussing the first season and the highlights and such.
We definitely did that. Because I remember we were talking about Mira, and I definitely hosted. We talked about it.
And I didn't sign up for season 1. We're talking about season 2 today because god damn.
Yeah.
Just when you thought it couldn't get better, the Mad Lads have done it. It's better.
Oh, yes, sir.
Well, speaking of season 1, we pick up right where we left off with Spear and Fang trying to rescue Mira, who got taken away. And this means that Spear and Fang have to take a little boat ride.
They're gonna take a little trip on a little river ship.
And that episode visually, the strongest it's ever been.
Oh my gosh!
When they're on the raft in the water at night.
Oh my gosh!
Beautiful.
It was beautiful.
It was like paintings that you would see in like Renaissance era. It was beautifully done.
Man.
It was so well animated, and I really got a sense of the vastness of the ocean and how insignificant they were in all of that expanse. It was down to them floating around at night, them when the water lost the wind, then when they were trying to find food and he's swimming around and he can't find anything. Like their complete lack of like any kind of land and everything around them. It just shows how small they are and the vastness of the ocean. And it was just so beautifully illustrated in all those sequences. I loved it.
Those aesthetics were just chef's kiss.
Yes.
It really was. It was, oh man.
Yeah.
When it's nighttime and all you see is the moon. Mm-hmm. Oh man. And you got like the sounds going and you could see the creatures under the water. I'm pretty sure they did this episode just so they could do everything they wanted to do underwater.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it had those like Samurai Jack undertones, like how the art just like every episode the art was always different, but it was constantly evolving, and just when you think that it couldn't get any better, it's just like, damn, where did this come from? It just came out of the blue somewhere.
That is so on point. I agree completely.
And then Spear channeled the Shredder and dined on turtle soup. I was like, no, don't kill the turtle. Oh, yeah, he broke that turtle's neck.
Ain't no last running on that one.
And then Fang bit the head off.
Hey.
And then they used the shell very smartly. They used the shell very, very smartly. And then the Megalodon shows.
Oh, yes, the Megalodon. Perfect. I kept wondering, and I was like, there has to be a shark. There's got to be a shark. And you see that peak peer through the water, and then all of a sudden, boom, and there it is. And I just thought that sequence was way too short. But it also, it wasn't their typical monster fest where they have a lot of things to work with. They're essentially, out in the middle of the water with nothing, at their disposal to fight with. And it is his territory. It is his game. He owns it, that Meg, and he's going to take them down. And they barely made it through it, and it was amazing. It was amazing. Oh,
that was
sharks.
A crazy fight.
Yeah.
Crazy fight. But it ends with them getting separated, which leads us to the next chapter where the two of them have been separated and they each find a group of like individuals.
This gave me anxiety, by the way, them being separated. I just need to say that. I was very anxious.
And they look so guilty when they eventually reunited. I'm like, relax.
It's okay.
Well,
he
it's
ain't
like
cheating or anything.
Right. It's like the whole thing is like, obviously they have a bond, but it's not like they were looking. It was like more than like it gave vibes of like, guys, you're not a couple. Like, you're pals. It's not like that. I don't know why
They feel like they're married.
they definitely feel like they're married, but I know it's just like the look of like just absolute despair that they're on the opposite sides at one point, and they're just like, oh, and it's like, no,
well,
it's
you have to compact with that they realize what it means to be on opposite sides in that situation.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like it's so funny how you can have a type of Romeo and Juliet dynamic of like the Montagues and the Capulets like going against each other with no one talking and with T-Rexes and humans. It's wild how you can get that to work as well as it did in Primal.
There are people talking, you just don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, can we talk about that? That there is talking in this episode at a pretty regular rate again, and I was worried at the end of the last season that introducing speech would completely change the dynamic. But I've so far it's been interesting because it is still rare and there's still so much action that happens without speech that it makes it interesting. And the fact is, we as a viewer do not understand what they're saying unless you understand some kind of Proto-Celtic, which I'm assuming that's what they're trying to emulate by the stone. The stone village really looks a lot like, there's this Neolithic stone village in Orkney, and I think that this was meant to be a reflection of that, to look just like that. And I thought that was pretty cool that they're trying to use an actual archaeological site as a basis for that. I mean, look, in reality, none of these things would exist at the same time, but who the fuck cares? This is fantasy and it's animation and you can do whatever the fuck you want and it works in a really wonderful
way. Oh yeah, no, I'm just so impressed how they're able to convey very, oh god, I'm going to hate myself for this, very primal emotions without speaking. They just keep doing it and you really do get that type of connection. Like I'm with Kuro. I'm such a Fang fanboy. I love her. She is the best character for me on this series. And obviously she's not going to talk. So we have to pick up from her nonverbal cues, her body language, her demeanor, things along those lines. And like I said, like, yeah, and her tiny hands, moving around. But just like
she's a clever girl.
She is clever gal.
The look of sadness of like finding out that she's fighting Spear, and B, when her new friend ends up perishing. It's like, oh my lord, and we sort of had that back in season 1 when her tragedy happens with her kids.
Yeah, her
but like
babies.
Right, and it's just like, why am I feeling this thing for a dinosaur? It's almost like they just made a badass Pokemon, and I'm like, yes, I want to train this to be the very best, like no one ever was.
I choose you, Fang.
Amazing. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
If you kind of look at it, man, like the circumstances between how Spear and Fang actually got together, it was more like it's what we call trauma bonding. And sometimes that can be real toxic, but in this case, it actually worked itself out because in the end, Fang and Spear started working together. It's basically not the pack mentality, but in this time, it's more like it's more synergistic at this juncture because now they're working together. It's more like, hey, this is family.
Right.
We're companions. We have to lean on each other. Where I'm weak at, you're strong at. Where I'm strong at, you're weak at. But the thing is, it complements each other, and it balances itself out.
Absolutely.
But my comment is more just the fact that they're able to continue it without making it too cheesy. Because we got a ton of that in season 1, which is great. That laid this foundation of the dynamics between the central figures of the series. So the fact that they're able to continue it, and they continued it in ways that are vastly different from what we experienced in season 1. Because season 1, you really don't see them separated all that much. I mean, they have their little quarrels and things like that, but they were pretty much together the whole time. This is one where they were separated for quite some time. And clearly, as we'll get further on with the first 6 episodes, something happened to where they had a lot of time away from each other.
And you know what else?
We're gonna talk about a dinosaur drunken one-night stand.
No, I didn't get that was a boy dinosaur for a little while. I get that now, but we'll talk about that later. I do want to point out
was the appropriate one of not assuming gender. Good on you, Kuro.
Yes. I do want to point out that though I could say that the rigid kind of almost horn-like stuff on the head, the palette of red should have indicated male. But again, I am not a paleontologist. I am a internet Googler, so that's how I figured that out.
You're a cat.
If you look at him right, chickens. I'm just going. They say dinosaurs are chicken. So you can look at it as like a coxcomb.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what tipped me off. Like he could be male at that point.
That's a perfect analogy. The other thing, though, that about this episode that I found striking was the chief. Not rescuing, but like trying to establish a relationship with Spear. I don't know what that was about, but it is very interesting to me why he was desperate to establish this cooperative relationship with Spear. And that's not explained yet, which makes me think it might come back later.
It could. There's definitely a lot more tension between everybody after, the village basically gets wiped out. There's still plenty of survivors, but yeah, that's gonna.
And you know what I find interesting about that aspect, Sketch? It kind of like just dawned on me, where it's just like it kind of propels the narrative about how aggressive and archaic that Neanderthals were. Right? They're depicted as these like vicious, very strong brutes, and then having like Spear destroys civilizations that he's going through is kind of like, oh wow, it's really playing on the kind of history of how we were taught these types of people were. Which I'm like, oh wow, that's actually a really nice little subtle little thing that they kind of add that you don't really think about until you actually thinking about it.
I think he's so used to being reactive to a hostile environment too, and I want to. Yeah. This will probably harken to the 5th episode, the Primal Theory. But you see instances where he is more docile, like where he makes friends with Mira, where he has this one peaceful moment of fishing with Fang in the last season. Like he is able to tone it down, but he's so used to being reactive because the environment is so hostile, which is essentially the basis of this whole series of Primal, it being that kind of environment that he really has to resort to those urges most of the time. But it does make it so interesting just because there's always something different. And they changed the Monster of the Week formula and upped their game so much with this season so far.
Oh yeah, you love the Monsters of the Week for a second season. I know I do.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it profusely. And I've been the one mostly live tweeting for Toonami Faithful for it. That's usually how we've been breaking it down for a little bit, where I would start off with the first 2 shows, then we'd have our lovely, colleagues, Stephen and Brittany, take over for the last 6, 3-3. And so getting able to really like sink my teeth in to really see these types of differences of how both Spear and Fang act, the way that the story's tone has gotten even more brutal. Of course, Kuro's favorite episode that we'll talk into more about with Primal Theory and everything. Really good stuff. It's just, I will say this before we continue on. That bump to hype up that episode was pure genius.
Oh, that was a great
genius.
bump.
We can't show you guys anything. Gendy said so. He's law. It's like, go on with your bad selves. All right.
They were definitely adding a little sweet enticement out there, and I loved it. I was like, okay, what do you?
That was a good call.
I think it's funny too because a lot of people have been, shall we say, nervous about how much things have changed with Adult Swim. The credits stuff, the speeding up, like the ending stuff, and Sketches kind of been keeping tabs of that more than anyone else on this podcast.
Ooh, I don't like crunch credits and speed up credits. No, sir.
It's channeling his elderly animation fan, like, back in my day.
That was really good. I love it.
But
I'm gonna get that rabbit.
But that promo that they did was such a callback to like old school Adult Swim that just made me appreciate it so much, right? And it's just one of those things where it really added nothing. And honestly, I think it kind of was weird considering what the episode was. But, and don't get me wrong, I thought it was fantastic. But my thing is just like, I love that kind of old school feel of like, yeah, this is like Adult Swim 2008 right here. You know what I mean? Like it felt right to have something as very tongue in cheek, especially toward the more vocal negative fans, to where it's like, oh no, we still see you. We still got a few tricks in our bag. Don't let it fool you. So I really enjoyed it. Like this is on, and like Kuro gets all the credit for getting me onto Primal because I didn't watch it when it first premiered on Adult Swim. Just because, honestly, I'm really busy and I'm not staying up late to watch stuff if I don't have to.
That is fair.
And it's just mostly a work thing too. But like that's kind of that. I didn't watch marathons because I usually like to take a break with those, especially with considering how much I do help out in like other fields, all that, yada yada. But getting able to watch season 1 week to week on this rerun, getting to watch the season 2 week to week, it's just. Oh, it's been such an absolute pleasure. Like we just got on episode 1 of season 2, and we all cannot rave enough about the aesthetics of like them drifting at sea.
Yeah,
right.
consistently.
And that's just episode 1. There's been some intense fights and like brutal scenes, stuff that like really hits your emotions. Like we said, we have emotional feelings toward a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Right. Especially back in season 1 with what happened with her family.
Save Mira and your friends or for people, however you want to slice it. Like, I love the episode that Mira was introduced where we get to learn her backstory, but she doesn't even say a word. She draws a picture and you automatically know what she's talking.
It's something that you can greatly appreciate where you don't have to be a fan of animation, but you see something like that and it just resonates. It's just so easy to resonate with a lot of people. So the fact that you're getting this type of feedback, you're getting the type of recognition for the second season, because this second season has blown the first one out of the water, and that's impressive to do because the first season is award winning, and it just keeps racking up awards. And the short turnaround for where it debuts on Thursday to when all of a sudden it gets to lead off on Adult Swim, or on Toonami, it feels fantastic, and it's been such a ride. It is. I said this. Before we record and things like this series might be the best thing that's ever been on Adult Swim Toonami. I cannot think of a show that it makes you think about these types of things, feel the way that you feel, the amazing artwork that I've always enjoyed because of Samurai Jack as an example.
That would have been the one I would have suggested that did. Yeah. I think Samurai Jack would be the other one I would say that is that excellent.
I'll say this. For the first 4 seasons, yes. Not that I didn't like the 5th one. Don't get me wrong. There was something different about when I first was introduced to the first Samurai Jack episode, like when it first debuted, that just captured my imagination. Like it was wonderful. I love it. And the last season is actually really, really good. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I can't think of a show. And you're talking to the Black Clover stan, My Hero Academia stan, Fire Force, there's been a ton.
And those are completely different, though. I think it's so different because you have an active voice element, and I think this is so different because it doesn't. What drives the plot is not the speaking, it's not the dialogue, and that is contrary to what we see in most anime. I mean, yeah, action, sure, but again, they're talking, and they wouldn't be anything if they weren't talking. But in this one, even if they took out the voice, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't change anything. It's still, the action is propelled forward by the actions of the characters and the atmosphere and the animation and the background and everything. The setting, it all propels forward the storyline in such a magnificent way. And this is why I will continue to say it. Gendy is a genius. He knows what he's doing, and he's working with a great team.
And I don't even know if it's like the action itself or what. There's something about this show that makes me say this is the best thing that's ever been on Toonami's Adult Swim run. And you can start a debate if you can say period. Mm-hmm. Like this is fantastic. I literally can't speak any more highly about this here. Like, you're not getting Chris Evans talking about anime Like, that speaks for something when you have, and I'm not saying that he's particularly snobbish, but when you have Hollywood actually taking notice of animation, which apparently is a dying breed right now. Like, animation's at war right now. 100% it's at war right now within the entertainment sphere and industry.
Oh, yeah.
So when you have a Hollywood big shot like Chris Evans, Captain America, saying, holy shit, this show is fantastic, I need more, people are going to notice that. People are definitely going to know. And like,
don't worry, I replied to him and say, hey, there's 4 more episodes.
And I'm pretty sure he saw it, Scott. But no, in all seriousness, like that to me, just in and of it itself is like a legacy type of thing. The fact that a show that, while not premiering on Toonami, it's pretty much premiering on it with how close they are debuting. And it's fantastic. It's been amazing.
Yeah,
like, and I'm not an anime snob, obviously. Like, I love anime. That's my preferred type of thing to watch, and not just on Toonami, just in general, right? Like Spy X Family, Fire Force, like Chainsaw Man, Bleach later.
Well, if you were an anime snob, you'd still be saying Cowboy Bebop is the best thing to ever air on Toonami.
Right. No, I mean, if you wanted me to do a list of that, I mean, Bebop's obviously on it, but I'm being dead serious. I think Primal's easily top 5, if not top 3, and I would not begrudge anyone who wanted to say number 1 all time. I really wouldn't. Like, it's been,
God, I don't know. I have to think about
it's been
that.
so
It's
phenomenal.
so individual, though. Like, I have to be objective in that, and that'd be tough.
Right,
I definitely
but it's
put
just
Samurai Jack original on that list, though.
But it's one of those things where just Primal hits something that I can't quite articulate on or quantify. But it's
Primal is truly unique.
It blows you away.
It is
It
unique.
is, and
that's
I
what
think
makes it amazing. It is.
And I think the problem,
there's nothing like it.
right? And I think the problem I think it goes over the heads of a bit of Toonami's audience, where they want just the action of it, and like it gives you it. It's very brutal, very gruesome, things along those lines. And like, being on the social media side, I see less tweets for that during its airing on Toonami, as opposed to like Yashahime or Lupin even, or One Piece, all that stuff. But it's like, it's
far and away the most watched show on Toonami, though.
I think people are. I think the thing is that they're actually just watching it and not tweeting. To be fair, it's just that good.
It's hard to take your attention away even for a moment.
And it reminds me of like what my brother and I would watch.
You can't have it on in the background. You have to watch.
It reminds me when my brother and I would watch the slice of life anime that we both called the number 1 slice of life anime of all time, of My Romantic Teen Comedy Snafu, where we're watching this. And we literally couldn't.
That's hilarious.
We couldn't put our phone, like we didn't have our phones up. We didn't talk. We didn't say nothing. We just watched, and it just sucked us in. And after like 30 minutes, we're like, "Oh wait, what?"
It's pretty hard to keep up with the dialogue if you don't.
Well, we were watching it dubbed, but
even if it's dubbed, they talk pretty fast.
You know what I really love?
It's just Primal has that same type of thing where it just. I have to put everything down. You have to watch it.
You do.
And it's hard to tweet.
Yes.
I have to tweet for Toonami News. It's so hard.
You can't multitask when you're watching this. But also, like, even though, as I mentioned earlier, it's fantastical, they do bring in things that are real. For example, in episode 3, you see Spear and Fang. And Fang, she demonstrates a level of pathos by being depressed over the death of Red. And that in itself is pretty interesting. And then you see Spear entering a cave and he sees handprints. And that is really reminiscent of Cueva de los Manos. It's this cave art, this prehistoric cave art in Spain. And it dates back millennia. But also there's another one in Tibet that's like almost 200,000 years old. So like just the level of detail where they're showing handprints on cave art that literally represents something that we have here in reality, that is just fantastic. And I loved that. It was really thoughtful and really elegant addition in a moment of peace before we saw the violence ensue once again. I thought that was a really great addition for that episode.
And it's just points like that make me say, like, Sketch, you say Primal is its own thing. That's kind of why I say it's one of the best things ever on Toonami, right? Like, it's just, you can't compare it. There's literally nothing to compare it to. You can go, oh, what about Samurai Jack? Well, aesthetically, sure. Absolutely. But story-wise, two different things. Two different things to me. And it creates this type of kind of feeling towards the series that just makes me really just love it so much. It's so good. It's fantastic.
Show it to a non-fan. Show both series to a non-fan and just see how they respond to both.
Oh! I'm telling you, they'll love them both because let me tell you, the first season of Sam Jack, woo boy.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Zach, you were saying.
Who cares what you're saying? We're gushing about Primal.
I'd say it's a little hard to quantify, but I would not discredit anybody for putting this in their top 5 Toonami shows ever. At least their top 10. I
have a feeling mine's going to be changing.
Pretty dang powerful.
It's just like, and I'll ask you the sketch. As a character story,
as a character study, what even compares to this?
Yeah.
In the amount that we're given, where even if we don't have like inner monologues or dialogue that is more than grunts and speaking in other languages, you get so much character study within this show. It's incredible.
And echo what Darrell said about trauma bonding and the synergy between characters. That was really elegantly put as well.
Mm-hmm. And at this point, they are so bonded. Fang went out of her way to help Spear do all that he needed to do in the first episode, whether it be to build the raft or to steer the raft in the water.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't jump in and try to catch a fish, but
no,
listen, those tiny arms, man.
She protects him against Red.
Mm-hmm.
But she also protects Red from Spear, which is very interesting as well.
That's a heck of a position to be in.
Yeah.
She takes a lot of abuse on Spear's behalf too, because you see fights and she gets carved up a lot.
Yeah, it hurts my soul, man. Hate it. I just want to protect her so much.
I mean, the moment that you saw them bonding with other humanoids and other dinos, you're like, oh, this isn't going to end well.
No, that was kind of the what we call it, the death flag coming up at that point, man.
And
the Akami got killed death flag, Darrell.
Kind of seemed inevitable.
Yes.
But I mean,
it was really, basically the red wedding, dude.
Yeah, it really.
Yeah.
It really juxtaposes the relationship that they have and how unique and special it is, because to outsiders, what they have doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's dangerous. They wouldn't dare do it. So it's going to put them at odds with almost everybody that they come in contact with, except thankfully, it doesn't put them at odds with Mira. And the family grows.
Well, so far, at least.
I love that Mira. I was worried at first, but I'll let you
they sure found her quicker than I thought.
Yeah.
Just third episode.
That was sketch. That was such a good episode too. Was that 2 or 3?
Episode 3 is when they find Mira.
Oh God, I loved it too, because I was actually worried that he was just going to find another group of people that looked like Mira, and then the fact that she was there, I was like, oh yes, thank you. Okay, this is good.
If only they hadn't spoiled it during Toonami during the first commercial break on episode 2.
Listen, it's fine. It already aired on Thursday. Technically, spoiler doesn't count. It's been seen. but it's just the raw emotions that you just get of these things. I'm a sucker for those types of tropes, whether it be, not so much the romantic side, although don't get me wrong, those are nice too. But I really like the whole, okay, a friend or an ally has been taken away, we got to go get them. You know, a great example of like Arcs That Relate is like when Rukia was taken to the Soul Society and Ichigo had to go get her. I was so glued to my TV, making sure I'd stay up every day to be able to catch to if Ichigo would actually make it to save Rukia, right? It's the same type of concept. And it's just, it blows me away because no one's saying a damn thing. And I love it. It's just like, you understand, he shows up. Everyone's scared shitless because they think, oh crap, this dude, we've never seen him before. He's going to kill us all.
Yeah,
just like, you know,
and he's scary looking and they don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm.
And then he just shows up. And then Mira finally, she's like, oh my fucking God, you made it all the way. How? And like they embrace and you're just like, oh God, it's going to be okay. Then the Vikings show up. Oh, fuck. No, everything's going to be okay.
Nope. Apparently the Vikings didn't take too kindly to them walking off with the slaves. First of all, you're really going to have slaves and not have them, like, in handcuffs or anything?
Well, I mean, they're not smart Vikings.
Apparently.
But it's just like, it's one of those things. And, like, you even get to see, like, Mira's primal side, too. Because, boy, she was so uncomfortable, and like she realized she had to live, and it's almost like when we go to episode 5.
She embraced her primal side. She embraced it, and it was fantastic.
For people who are like, why did they have that episode in there? It's to explain what Mira just did. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love it. I love that connection.
Yeah, you see that initially when Spear is trying to gather them all up and get away, he's like, you know, we have to fight, and Mira's like, no, that's not what we do. But
and Spear's just like, oh, you go and learn today.
They ran away, and you know, there's a part of me that thought, because we don't know where these people came from before they became slaves or what they might feel about their situation, other than, you know, the natural despair a slave might feel. But I loved that Mira saw it as an opportunity to get back at her oppressors. And I was curious to see, like, at first I thought, oh, they'll all join in and react, and they didn't. And in my opinion, that was a bit of a missed opportunity. Because if we're talking about how the show in general talks about delving into your primal urges, I can't imagine anything more primal than revenge against an entity that was oppressing you. And sure, their fear would be natural and them running away is natural too, but I'm just very surprised that Mira was the only one to stay and fight and react. So and she straight up, like, she chopped a guy's head off. That was the first thing she did, and I was like, okay, yeah, she's in this, let's do it, you know. I just, it was just something that I thought, and it's not a complaint, it was just an observation that I had about watching it.
Kuro, you want to know my theory of why that might be? It's because she's been with Spear before.
Yes.
She saw it. So, like, she kind of understood the fight or flight type of mechanism more so than just the flight part that the rest of her people might have felt at the time. I'm sure, I do agree. I would still think there would, even though, like, they might not have, any of them might have experienced that before, I have to think, like, one or two maybe, right, would even have that type of fight. Like, there's always one. So, I do agree that there definitely should have been more on the fight side of it, but I have a feeling, like, it was obviously going to be her just because she was exposed to it. And in a more positive way, obviously, because, you know, Bang and Spear are trying to, hunt, survive, things along those, and not so much survive through oppression or anything like that, but just survive for, necessities kind of thing. So I think the fact that she experienced that, she's like, okay, and I know Spear is someone I could trust. He obviously came all this way to help. I'm going to try to emulate what I've seen from him, just as he has been emulating stuff that he's seen from her. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like that type of relationship that those two have that kind of allowed her to grow and to be able to have the mentality to fight more than flight as opposed to her people.
That was definitely probably the intent of the episode. But man, the red mist, that was fucking brutal. That was brutal.
Oh, man. Yeah. If they had just let Spear and Fang leave, but no, they wanted blood.
No, it's like they couldn't leave well enough alone, and then it was like, this is basically the enactment of fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
That's the show in a nutshell, honestly.
Like, oh my gosh, some lady with a baby walks out of her. It's like, oh, it's fight time now. All right, let's go. Like, lady, come on.
They didn't have much for entertainment sketch. They didn't have like Ninja Turtles to watch or to play on the Nintendo Switch. So I mean, it was either this or just sleep.
Right. Yeah. And the chief's son. The chief's son was like he did not want to go down without a fight.
Oh, he got what he was looking for.
Yeah, that kid, that was rough.
Well, he got to go to Valhalla the right way.
He did.
So I'm pretty sure one of the Valkyries carried him off to Valhalla or whatnot.
They did.
I mean, Spear really didn't want to kill that kid, but I appreciate that Spear has a code of honor of sorts. That
well, I think it's because of the trauma of him losing his kids, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's basically doing to these people what happened to him. And I think it's very interesting how they played that off to where, again, we're talking about a Neanderthal here, and he's starting to learn and have more kind of an understanding of the world around him. And the fact that he's like, oh crap, I'm doing the same thing that these things did to me. I have to survive. And it might start creeping his head. Is that what happened to my family? It was just done for someone else to survive? And I think that might be creeping into where it's just like, well, we're getting into some real deep level shit with Spear right now.
It's an issue of morality, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a thin line because, okay, he's attacking this village, but it's basically a fight or flight, but then on top of that is self-preservation too. Mm-hmm. It was like, look, if I do not fight back, then these people are going to unalive me, and I'm not going to be able to continue on, doing what I need to do because, hey, you want to live, so, hey, it's either me or them, and guess what? I'm choosing me over them.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be a waste, too, considering he traveled all this way to rescue Mira.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I love the analogy of the red mist to the berserker reaction, that the red mist coming in and then them behaving essentially as berserkers, them going nuts and going on a spree. I mean, they were defending themselves, of course, we know that, but still, like, the frenzy at which they were fighting as the mist comes in, like, I felt like that was a really tangible analogy they were trying, or a metaphor that they were trying to demonstrate, and I thought that was really, it was a clever animation technique added to the intensity.
Yep, it was the only thing that Fate Stay Night taught me well, Sketch.
I think what we're supposed to observe from this episode is there was no good guy here.
No.
It's like Gundam. Primal is Gundam. Prehistoric Gundam.
And it's funny that you say that about there being no good guy, Sketch, because at the end, they do something curious. They have a scene where the chief and whoever, I don't know if it's son or another clan member, are burying everyone and having a ceremonial ship burned and all of that, and it's very emotional, and they set the slaves free, and it's a whole thing, and it's like you're sort of meant to sympathize with them a little bit, but like if you think back, they were subjugating a whole people to slavery very cruelly. So it's very strange. And then they were willing to attack, and at the time when Spear entered the village, he hadn't done anything violent. He was just trying to get his friend, and then they came in, they're like with their 5 bears and they were out there even before that. They had hunted him down. So like on one hand you see, oh, they're humans and they have pain and they have suffering, and the other hand you're like, well, I can't give them a pass for their loss because again they behaved this way. So I just thought that was a really interesting thing to put in at the end of the episode. It was meant to kind of make you stop for a minute and pause and think, I don't know.
It's war, no one wins.
When you look at both sides, and especially when it comes to war or just even a battle, each side has its good, like every side has its heroes and its villains. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I mean, to the opposing force, these people are the villain. To the next force, these people are the heroes because they were fighting back. But at the same time, like I said, there is no good, no bad. There is no heroes. There's really no villains. It's just like we did this shit out of necessity because we were trying to survive unscathed, or at least, protect, our way of life. And this is what these Vikings were doing. They were trying to protect their way of life. And they did not want to they didn't want to lose what they had. And another thing, like with Mira's, her people, with the fight or flight thing, it's like sometimes even though they ran away, in a way, it's kind of like you got to look at it like Stockholm syndrome too. They probably had been subjugated by these people so long that they did not want to fight them because they were actually sympathizing with their oppressors. Yeah, and it happens a lot.
Yeah.
So instead of getting in the middle of this, they ran away because they didn't know how to really react to this. And, sometimes it's just a normal way. Yeah. When people are dealing with Stockholm syndrome, they don't get into it like with either side, especially the side that's being that's oppressing them.
Yeah. That's definitely the beauty of not having the dialogue, is that we can really think about it and as individuals sort of come up with explanations or interpretations. And I think that's really interesting. It leaves a lot up for discussion.
So, and anybody else, when they first saw Rika, the wife of the chief, show up, you probably were thinking, oh, this lady looks like she's going to be trouble.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she would have been if she didn't fight a Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah. Bitch took on the wrong bitch.
She effed around and found out.
Yeah. I mean, literally, that Tyrannosaurus Rex was the definition of nuck if you buck.
No one messes with my girl Fang.
You got Tyrannosaurus wrecked.
There it is.
Oh, bravo.
So I wanna ask this now. Then, what did we all think about the episode? And you know which one I'm talking about.
Holy shit.
Okay, there we go. Kuro. Science seal delivered. She's done.
Wait. I want to describe this.
Okay, yeah, please do.
All right. So, at the end of that episode, the Vikings set out for revenge because they know somebody did this and they're going to find out who it is. But before we get that, we get something
England.
completely different. In England in 1890, a biologist named Charles Darwin? Yeah, probably.
Get your brandy, please, everyone.
Tries to defend his theory of evolution to his fellow scientists, Lord Darrington, Blakely, Bertie, and Giroud. Charles surmises that in the right situation, any person would regress to their primitive roots in order to survive. But the evening is cut short when an escaped inmate from a nearby asylum breaks into the house, kills the butler, and proceeds to prey on every person inside.
Yeah. You know what this read like? Okay, story time, everyone. When I was a youngin', many years ago, I was
Kuro, you just turned 18 2 weeks ago.
Yes. I was sitting in the car, and I have a family member tell me a horror story, like the kind of horror stories you tell when you're a kid under blankets at night that you're not supposed to have heard of. And it was about an escaped inmate and a man in a car, and he leaves his broken down car to go find help, and his wife is waiting, and she hears a thump on the top of the car, and it turns out it's the escaped inmate with
always
her
an
husband's
escaped
head.
inmate.
Yes. This gave me those vibes, like being a kid and hearing horror stories, like where you tell them anecdotally to each other and you're not supposed to. This gave me those vibes so hard, like that 90s horror vibe. It really had that hardcore. And
why did that dude look like Killer Croc?
I don't know.
Nice tattoo he had.
Death.
Yes.
I'll let you continue. Sorry, I had to share that.
First of all, why didn't this guy showing up just prove the theory on its own?
Yeah.
But no. Second of all, these guys took way too long to pick up a gun.
Dude, you
got weapons all around them in every room, and they're like,
"Oh no, what do I
Let's
do,
just run
sir?
away.
What happened to the butler? He's been eaten. Sorry.
Also, how dare he spill that booze onto the ground?
Man, I was so mad.
That is alcohol.
Also, that's going to be real hard to get out of the carpet. Though I think that's the least of their concerns.
Like, seriously. But they do have he did have a real good, he did have a good opinion, though. Like, when people are put in certain situations, they will actually revert back to, like, you know, those primal ways. Because, I mean, you almost, depending on where you're at in the situation, you will go completely feral. I mean, like, I've been in a lot of fights from a youngin' on up. And honestly, I've had to fight because people always looked at me and saw the eyeglasses me being weak. You know, I get triggered, and then literally I put my hands around somebody, nigga, I almost broke his neck. And I was like, after the fight, I basically choked him out. But the thing is, I told people, I was like, move back. I screamed, do not touch me, because I was like, right now, I cannot distinguish friend or foe. So if you come near me, I will actually hurt you.
Yep. And you were reacting. You were reacting. And that is what happens. People, I mean, we're all animals, just like the song says.
Baby, I'm preying on you tonight.
But I will not tell you, like, trust me, survival training, oh, that's a coming to Jesus moment right there.
Yeah.
And y'all, I did some primal stuff. Let's just say banana leaves ain't all that fun.
Which is why Kuro will never join the armed forces, but appreciates all that they do.
Kuro, you're a vigilante at night. I don't know what you're talking about here.
Telling everybody they're gonna know, and it won't be a secret anymore.
They don't believe me anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Good. My plan is working.
Survival training is fun, but I will not lie, I did kind of go feral because there were some things. I actually made raw fish, man, and it wasn't sushi. It's like, hunger pains get to you after a while, and bugs taste like friggin' steak.
Real talk, though. Did you spear an escaped guy from an asylum through the brain with a spear? Because that would have been fucking badass.
No, ma'am, this is not Lord of the Flies. I did not do that.
Not that I can talk about on this podcast.
I think my only thing was the fact that the old dude still got his boxing chops.
Yeah, dude.
Dude,
he starts punching him in the face, and then looks over at the poster. Oh.
My favorite part of that whole episode is the
Help me, man. Oh, sorry, you're doing so well there for a moment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He punches him a few times, and the madman's like, whatever.
No, but he's like, Charles is running like, yes, go, man, go, or something like that. He's like cheering him on.
Give him hell. Let him have it, old boy.
That's the British equivalent of whoop that trick.
Queensberry rules. Oh my god! And then at the very end, when he screams, like, what does he say? Like the equivalent of "I told you so." He's like, "See."
And there you have it. I loved it. I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming.
Sketch. That scene can be described in one way: a Reddit conversation.
Oh god. It is so memeable, and also it was like the way he said it. Oh, it was perfect. It was the last bit of dialogue.
And there you have it.
He's gleeful. It's great. It's perfect.
People are dead.
People
everyone's
are dead.
Like,
we're all very injured, and the things have really gone off the rails. But I was right.
He's literally like
important here.
He's literally like beating his ass in the quote retweets at the end of the episode. It's just like, you gotta be freaking. You're trolling right now.
And he says it so gleefully in spite of all of the human wreckage.
He's inting our ranked games. Like, what are you doing, man?
Oh, I loved it. That was so
It was
fun.
a great episode. It was so clever. Like, if you're watching this, you're like, what the heck how did we get here? Where's Spear? Where's Fang? Where's my girl Dino kicking some major booty?
Right?
Instead, we get Charles Darwin and this escaped asylum and some jolly good, knuckle dragging, and it's just like, I told you so. Thank you. Yes, that's all we needed.
Yeah. You just know that Tartakovsky's like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want with this, and y'all are going to like it. And
he's law, apparently, at Adult Swim, so we have no choice.
I can see why, though, he didn't show it, because if they had tried to show a preview of that,
none of us
would have gotten it. It needed to be, like, completely out of the order. Like, you had to not know what was coming for that to work. It was good.
I mean, after you see all that damn blood and gore, you just get that damn one line.
Holy shit. And that spilled brandy, man. You know?
Yeah.
We literally just saw the creation of Reddit right there, right in front of our eyes.
Mm-hmm. So I love the fact that the constable, the police officer, was voiced by Spear.
Oh, I missed that. Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's the same perfect actor, Aaron LaPlante.
Yes.
Jacob Dudman was Charles, and Jeremy Crutchley was Lord Darlington. Jacob Dudman, nice delivery. He really sold it. And Fred Tatasciore, a usual voice of the Hulk, was the Madman. Go figure. Yeah, Darlington definitely was channeling some Spear at the end there. Wait.
Sketch, who'd you say was the asylum escapee?
Fred Tatasciore?
I think that's actually the voice of Soldier 76 from Overwatch.
Could be.
I'm not even joking. Like, that name sounds so familiar to me right now.
He's very prolific. He's in so many things.
Dude, I could talk to another Overwatch VA. We going back to old CJ. Holy shit. Yeah. Oh my god. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. But dude, I loved it. I love the British accent. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
So good. It was, that whole episode is just, I'm watching it too, and I have to live tweet that, and I'm just like, I don't even know what to say. Like, what do I do?
Channel your inner Reddit post.
Well, I mean, thankfully I don't. There's only one thing that I can get away with on doing a personal thing on that account for live tweeting, and that is bully Celia. That is about it.
I'll say this, those guys were terrible at running away from the madman. Like
Darwinism at work, as they say.
Thin the herd out, baby. Thin that herd out.
The madman throws the dresser at the door. Y'all could have moved that. Come on. It was way better than running back the other way. Also, how the heck did the madman get on the ceiling? He jumped good.
That was a nice reference there. At that asylum, by the way, he was like built. Holy shit. Yeah. He's eating his meat and his carbs. He's a meat and potatoes boy.
I don't know, but either he eating other inmates or the rats.
The other inmates.
I mean, because look here, this is the 1890s, you know. Prison systems and psychiatric treatment wasn't exactly the best back then.
No, it was shit. It was shit. Up until Freud, God bless him, there was no such thing. But
thank you, René Descartes.
Yeah, there was no such thing. It's very, very amusing.
So what do you think of the theory, and this has been going around, that Primal is actually taking place in the future, and the world has reverted to a primal state?
Whoa. What? What? You just blew my mind. Holy shit. Oh my god.
Sketch. You know that's not possible. That would mean that not so much the human part's possible, but you're telling me that animals then reverted back?
Sure.
You know what?
Charles did mention that the birds showed signs of reverting to prior.
Oh, I actually.
That's a good point. I don't know. I could see the human side of it, but it's just hard for me to think
healing itself.
No, that's a fun theory. It's very Horizon Zero Dawn, but more primal, if you forgive the expression. I love it. On
one hand, I think it's fine if Primal, throws in totally unrealistic fantasy elements and it's still set in the past. But on the other hand, if it's set in the future, then it's all possible, baby.
Where did you? Is this off of Reddit too?
I don't know where this theory originated, but
Sounds like
it was probably discussed on Reddit.
I kind of dig it. What do you think, Darrell?
I mean, it's not, it's plausible. I mean, if you looked at like a lot of stuff that like dystopian like societies, like you would probably have like some of the animals reverting back to like, their earlier forms. And then you can have people that have like pretty much technology. And then it's possibility that some people just, took up basically, I guess you could say, like, you got Vikings on one end, you got cavemen, people who just kind of reverted back, hey, I'm just going to be a dumbass, what this is, Cro-Magnon for the most part, because we know Mira was Homo sapien at this point, with the reasoning and the way she was thinking, higher, pretty much a more higher functioning.
Neanderthal, maybe even.
Yeah, he's more Neanderthal. I'm sorry, Cro-Magnon is a step above Neanderthal, but when you look at all these things, it's like, wait a minute. It was actually possible because I'm trying to get all my thoughts together. I'm having a quick little brain fart.
You know what I think? Maybe even not just reverting. Maybe like follow that thread through what you're saying, Darrell, and what you're saying, Sketch. We've just completely fucked our planet, right? And let's follow that through. So what happens? Evolution has to restart. And except that the planet already has remnants of previous civilizations and creations, so it's sort of restarting at an uneven pace, which may explain why different factions have developed at different rates, and also why you see, huge reptiles or different creatures like I think like you could make the argument for it being a future, post-dystopian, post-apocalyptic thing. Like, yeah, I could see it. That's a fun thing to play with. I don't think that was the intention.
It's basically the world is imbalanced because you got tech here, pretty much Iron Age to probably pre-Iron Age and Stone Age, and everything is basically clashing with each other.
Yes. 100%. Like and that's not even unheard of because that's happened in our own world, but in a way that makes sense. Like, so yeah, I feel like, okay, that's fun. I can roll with that. I didn't think about it before, but I could roll with that. I don't know if that was the intention behind this. You never know with Tartakovsky though. Like his mind is a maze. I don't know where that's going. I'm just along for the ride, man. And I'm riding right in the back where I get the whole like whiplash from the roller coaster.
I mean, it really does kind of make sense, though. I mean, it's very plausible, though. I mean, you have things like, look at Dr. Stone, though.
Right?
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's a great analogy. There you go.
Man, I hope dinosaurs show up in Dr. Stone.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I don't know. I still don't. I don't think it's the future. It's hard for me only strictly because I don't think the animals would have been able to. I feel like they'd be still far behind in developing backwards as compared to the humans.
But look at it like this.
CJ,
hold on, look at it like this.
Jurassic World.
Oh god.
Life finds a way, but look at it like this.
Finds a way.
But maybe they evolved into another form, like saying what you see now as the dinosaurs, to actually keep up with this world.
Holy shit! You've never seen my chickens go after food, man. They are vicious little raptors.
I mean, I don't disagree with any of that. It's just like I say. It's just the suspension of disbelief is a bit harder to prove to me compared to what's been said so far.
No,
I mean, it very well could be right.
Yeah.
It's just for me, when I think of when civilization like dissolves, I feel like the animals would take the longest time to kind of get used to it as opposed to like humans at the start, and then they hit a point where all of a sudden the animals would just like completely go faster than the humans kind of thing. So I don't know. It's tough for me to kind of see it working to where it would line up as perfectly as it has in the series so far.
Well, and that brings me to a really important point here, everyone. There have been no cats at all in any of these episodes, and I'm telling you, where are the fucking cats? I want my big tooth cats. Just saying, that is super important.
You never know. You might see them eventually.
They got bears almost as big as a T-Rex.
But I don't want them to be eaten. I want them to be like cool. Like I want them to fight, as like a pack against the humans or something like that. Not that this is reenacting some fantasy of mine that I've had for ages about.
Are you okay right now, Kuro? Are you good? Are you good? You already mentioned rising up. You've already mentioned your primal urges. Like, are you okay right now?
This is where Paul says, "Put down the wine, Kuro."
No, Kuro. Pick up the wine. No, that's what Paul drinks.
I'm just
we actually drink like adults.
Though. Like, I feel like there was a couple of felids in the first season, but they were like hostile. But I mean, like a true big cat. I want to see, like 10,000 BC kind of cat that we can all love, and then it goes away and it doesn't get eaten by Fang.
Where's our saber-toothed tiger?
Yeah.
Well, there's 4 episodes left.
Well, okay.
We'll see.
So that brings us to the ultimate episode of this season. I think, well, one of many ultimate episodes, but yeah, big bomb dropped. Woo!
It's time for revenge of the Vikings. As Spear and Fang and Mira have taken a boat and escaped, but Spear and Fang are both really badly injured, and Mira seems to be pretty good at taking care of them. But they have to face off against the chief and Eldar, who I believe is his son.
I kept on thinking his name was
for real though, until the other Vikings spoke, I wasn't sure if they were male or female. kind of hard to tell.
That's a good point. I wasn't sure if Eldar was male or female as well.
He could have been gender fluid.
He could have been. She could. They could have been. They could have been.
They could have been. They could have been.
Yeah. I apologize.
And Mira takes command of the Viking ship, and the chieftain abandons the fight to save their son, who was thrown overboard. And the trio are then forced to dock so that they can repair the ship. And during that time, Fang starts gathering things for a nest, and Spear immediately realizes there's gonna be some babies.
Yay! Oh my god!
So excited, and he wants to help. And
it's so cute.
It's precious.
It's so cute. I can't handle the cute. It's amazing.
What are you getting for them, Kuro? What's your present for the new babies?
Oh my gosh. Well, I was thinking some bird meat, maybe, like some giant grubs.
We're talking.
Always a good choice.
Yeah.
Always a good choice.
Some giant green grubs. They're little. We gotta ease them into, proper meat. I'm so excited.
If anything happens to those eggs, I swear.
I know she has a clutch again, man.
Holy shit.
Sketch, you said it. Now the red flags already popping up for me right now.
This is the biggest game changer after introducing Mira. Like, no shit. This is completely going to change how the series goes from here.
Mm-hmm. Also, clearly, the red dinosaur was a male.
Yes, now that we
we don't know that.
We didn't. Nature finds a way.
I mean, it could easily been a different T-Rex. We don't know.
Hey.
Well, he could have been both.
Are you saying Spear's Fang's a hussy? Because my girl gotta get her on. She gotta get hers on.
No. Listen. Fang could do whatever the hell she wants. She deserves everything. But I'm just saying, we don't know what the babies look like. We got to get Mari on the phone. We got to find out who's the daddy.
I mean, like, Fang just got a little bit of that booty duty done in.
She did.
Are they going to be green and red? That'd be cool looking.
Aww,
yeah.
I'm so excited.
Christmas dinos.
Yay.
Hey. Come on now.
What?
But before they can celebrate, of course, it wouldn't be like an episode if there wasn't shit they had to deal with.
No, they
this
got.
one felt very emotional too, and I don't mean like the good way either. With like how emotional we were about the what Fang is expecting, right? Like this one felt very like, oh god.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the chieftain and Eldar managed to break in a couple of flying creatures. Are Argentavis? That's what Wiki says. Yeah, they're big birds, and I was like, oh man, you're choking those poor things.
Largest flying birds to ever exist, and the heaviest flying bird of all time.
Interesting.
My middle finger.
Yeah. So, thankfully, nothing bad happened to the eggs. And even though Fang initially was like, "No, you don't. You stay away from there," to Spear, she does let him approach the eggs at the end of the episode. Aww.
That's pretty big, man. That shows a really high level of trust.
Mm-hmm.
And Mira too, like Mira, I think this is cool because you see Mira really as a part of the team. She A, helps heal Fang, and B, she's happy to see that Fang is pregnant, and that she helps him fight the chieftain off. Like it's a completely new dynamic, and it's going to be interesting to see. And then they move straight to her being pregnant and having the egg. So, like, what does this mean? Does it mean they're going to stay there? Does it mean that that Fang will leave now? Because that could mean now she's got babies. She can't go around traveling. She's got a something to live for that was essentially what drew her to Spear to begin with. Like, it completely changes what the potential dynamic will be in the future. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen next. But yes, eggs.
And Spear is a proud uncle.
He is. He's so happy.
Yeah, he is.
I'm happy. I want the babies.
Everybody's happy. Props to them for showing the miracle of childbirth.
I swear to God, if they kill those babies, I'm hating this show and I'm never watching it again. Don't do that to me. That's just gonna rip my heart out. Again.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully not. So yeah, those were the 6 episodes that have aired, which was quite the journey so far.
And as you can tell, we really like the series.
One can only wonder what they're going to do in the next 4 episodes.
Sketch, what are they going to do?
Well, apparently something called the Colossus is involved.
Colossus. And it's a 2-parter.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Eren Yeager is showing up? What the heck?
There will be no Titan slaying.
Damn.
I love
well,
that.
actually, who knows? In episode 6, the Viking chieftain sees a vision of something called Vidar. Seems like maybe a demon or something. Spear gonna find a demon?
The one that he was worshiping.
Oh.
Well, and actually that's pretty interesting you say that, because I didn't realize this until season 2, but you remember how Mira was quote unquote worshiping the moon each night in episode 10, and then when Spear first encounters them, he sees the sun, and there's this juxtaposition of what I can assume is her people worshiping the moon and his people worshiping the sun. So, and it wouldn't be a stretch, given how the show has gone with the supernatural, for them to include a deity, a god, in this. So something supernatural, that would represent whatever these people were worshiping. I would welcome that, because they had the monkey people and they had the witch people. They really have pushed the boundaries on supernatural too with Primal. So I feel and then the zombie virus dinosaur. I feel if they want to invite Vidar to the party, sure, let's do it. Fuck, bring it on. We'll take it. But don't touch Fang's eggs.
Are you saying there's going to be a cat god showing up, Kuro?
Yes, there better be. Okay. And she is benevolent and fierce and a fighter. She ferries the dead together.
Praise.
We really like Primal, guys. You can tell.
And you should too. If you have not checked it out, please do.
Chris Emmons checked it out. You have no excuses anymore.
Right? And
listen to Captain America.
I know people might have thought, oh, this is not Toonami, but I would argue that this is exactly Toonami.
This is absolutely Toonami.
Yeah.
People who say this isn't Toonami are weebs. Get them out. Weebs out. Weebs out. Get them out.
It's true. Look, if you want Toonami to showcase the best in action animation, this is the best in action animation.
Yes,
it literally wins awards. Like, that clearly says it's one of the best, if not the best. I will say this. There's only one show that I've seen recently that I would put over Primal all time, and that is Arcane. But
Arcane's
that's
great.
That's a discussion for another day. But like, since it came back, I can't think of any. Like, there's been other shows that have been more impactful. There's been shows that, you know, have garnered more attention, things along those lines. I think quality wise, Primal's got it. I think it has it. I will stand by that.
Absolutely. Everything about it, the visuals, the animation, the sound design, the music, it's all phenomenal.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah, there's nothing that I look at that and say, oh, they didn't need to have that. Everything works together really organically. And it's funny, you don't think about it. And I went back and watched a few things, and there are moments like in episode 1, which I think is one of my favorite episodes overall of the entire series, of just pure silence. And then they highlight it with music at very specific times. And you don't realize it unless you're actually thinking about it. And when you do realize it, it heightens the emotions, it heightens the experience. And I think that they've been doing that all along. They've been using sound. I mean, we know they've been using sound with voiceovers to complement the experience, but using music too, using silence itself too. So it's great. And I love when people push the boundaries of animation, and the animation is great, even though like it's intentionally a little bit blocky, but it's very smooth from frame to frame, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. The characters are blocky, but the animation quality is very smooth. So like you can just tell, you know, there's someone directing that knows exactly what they're doing and has a vision, and it's one of complete fluidity, which I will say, as much as I loved Fena lacked that fluidity. It had disparate things that were great about it. The music was great, the animation was great, the voice acting was great, the story was not great. Like, it didn't all come together. This all comes together really well. It's all one vision and one story, and that's great.
And, you know, I wonder if the negative, or I wouldn't say negative sentiment, but just, you know how we joke about how, oh, no, people only want Toonami to have anime kind of thing? I wonder if a lot of that sentiment, especially since Primal's, like, you know, leading the block, I'm, you know, touting it as, like, this great thing. I wonder if there's a little bit of resentment just because, A, it's not premiering on Toonami, and the sort of feelings that Gendy had with Primal airing on Toonami. And to be honest, like, I don't begrudge him for feeling the way that he does. Like, it's his show. He's allowed to want whatever he wants with it. And sure, would I have liked it to be premiering on Toonami? Sure. I mean, duh. I mean, for God's sakes, I want to have Chainsaw Man, New Bleach, Spy Family on Toonami. Like, I want everything on it, right? So I get it. But it's like, Primal doesn't need Toonami. Toonami needs Primal.
Yeah.
That's the kind of difference. And I think a lot of the people who have been upset about those whole things are kind of like upset of how that sentiment is, because it's not Toonami's Emmy Award-winning show Primal, it's Emmy Award-winning show Primal joining Toonami. And I think there's some fans that have a bit of resentment toward it being that way, billed that way, instead of what they would have wanted it to be billed as. And sure, you could talk about, oh, you know, ratings are better on Saturday nights than it is on Thursdays. It's just, I've already talked about this. Thursdays is not a great day to premiere a new show. I'm sorry. It's not. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are generally the best when it comes to that sort of thing. So already, like, that's going to be the way that it is with that. And obviously, Toonami has such a very loyal fan base that they're going to show up for those, especially with as good of a show that this is, right?
And
but I wonder
to say that isn't a completely different audience.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Do you think
but
it's
I'm
the same people watching both nights?
I think so. Yeah, I actually do.
I don't know about that.
I think it's a different audience.
I think it's more similar than we give credit for, but we will never know. It's purely speculation on that. But I do wonder if there's a bit of level of resentment just because of those statements, which I think is unfair, only because of the quality of the show itself. And like I say, it's Genji show. He's allowed to say and do whatever the hell he wants. As Adult Swim said, he is law. Their own words, not ours. So I do think that might be playing a little bit of effect. And I think what I've really enjoyed that the show has kind of gravitated people to kind of not really worry about that as much and just kind of enjoy what we're getting anyway. Because it's been for a while. Like I said, you could put Primal on anything and it'd be racking up all different types of notoriety. And it already has. Like, think about this. It premiered on Adult Swim. You know, on season 1, premiered. It won awards. It's being touted as one of the best things in animation today. Like, it's in the same realm as Arcane and Invincible. Those are like the 2 best animated shows that have come out recently. And the fact that Primal's on that list to make it a top 3, the big 3, right? You know, anime fans love their big 3s. Primal is there. I think that's amazing. The fact that even if it isn't a premiere, the fact that it's going to Toonami is wonderful. And I really, really think people should get out of this mindset that it can only be anime on Toonami, especially when you have such a fantastic show. Like, you're telling me if Arcane or Invincible wasn't available for Toonami to grab, you'd say, no, it's not anime. Get that out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Those shows are so good. So the fact that Toonami is going back to its roots of bringing you adult animation action that isn't necessarily only anime, I'm in heaven. I love it. Absolutely enjoy this.
I think also traditional fans might be challenged by what they consider traditional storytelling, and this is not traditional storytelling. And maybe that was initially part of the turnoff why they don't watch it. But I would argue that what Toonami has always been in essence is the off-brand, the thing that is not the usual thing, where you go to find things you don't expect to find in other places. And this is what you find. Primal is exactly that item. And off-brand storytelling is kind of where you want to go with storytelling. You want to see new and innovative ways of showing animation, which they've already been doing. You want to see new and innovative ways to tell a tale, to show characters interacting, to show action. And they've done all of that. So don't be put off by the fact that it isn't a hero tale, that it isn't, it doesn't have a waifu in the traditional sense. It doesn't have the characters that you can just grow to love and everybody that you can follow their dating lives or whatever, and you can kind of see them get their powers, or it doesn't have those things, but that doesn't have to be a turnoff. It is a good story, and the characters are interesting characters, and the way they interact is interesting, and the way it's animated is great. Like, you don't necessarily know what you're going to expect from moment to moment. There are perfect moments of like horrible brutality, and then there are moments of just peaceful interaction it's just a very loving thing between Fang and Spear. So I would say viewers who haven't really taken on Primal and liked it to give it a chance, just to say don't look at this as like, oh, I don't want to see something about primates. It's not about that. It's about so much more. Give it a chance and step outside your comfort box, and you'll find that you actually really enjoy the experience.
Wait a minute. There's no waifus? Never mind. Primal top 5 worst shows of all time. Get it out of here. Get it out of here.
Fang is best girl.
She is the best waifu. What are you talking about?
Waifu. I'm only kidding.
When we have our next waifu discussion,
you literally have to grow as a damn fan when it comes to animation. And I'm dead serious. At one point, yes, I was all into the itchy and all the other stuff. But now, I want a good story. Give me a good story, good animation, good plot and character development, and I'm good to go. Because I sure as hell can't say that for Yasuki. But yeah, everybody knows my reason for saying that. It's okay. That's my opinion. But yeah, I mean, it's a, I guess you could say Western cartoon. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be anime. If it's good, then it's good, and it's actually holding its own on Toonami. So quit complaining and just enjoy that we actually got some good content.
Yep.
I still need waifus though. Don't take those.
Mira can be the waifu. Just deal with that.
I don't know why you don't think Fang is a waifu. She's a total waifu. She's fierce and affectionate. I mean,
she's a waifu.
You can cuddle up with her at night. What more can you ask for?
I could give you a couple of things, but I'm not going to say it on this podcast.
Come on now, man.
Fair
Don't
enough.
you want a tsundere dinosaur?
I'm going to pass.
She'll literally bite your head off one of these days.
You know what?
my
That's
God.
a great selling point. I am ready.
Not that head.
She's literally a man eater.
So
No. I wasn't thinking of the bad heady. I was talking about actual, like the one above my shoulders.
stay tuned, guys.
End it all.
Toonami Faithful spin-off of this will be Spear and Fang, the tsundere that entered the primal atmosphere. And animated with voice acting originally by the Toonami Faithful.
Only if I'm drinking.
Yeah, that's the only way we'll be able to get through that.
Well, me and CJ did get through handshakers.
Hey, we'll get Laser to help doing the roaring effects. He's had training.
So we've talked about a lot of the pathos, a lot of the really dramatic moments, the really happy moments. But let's talk about some of the funny moments, because there are definitely some funny moments in this. Like when Spear and Fang are out on the boat and Spear jumps into the water to try and find fish. He can't find a fish. He comes up and they're yelling at each other. I can't find anything. I know. I'm going to try again.
The most domestic thing ever.
I mean, what's understood
Stop
doesn't have to
yelling
be
at me. I'm
explained.
trying.
They do that too with the rocks, where they yell at each other in the episode 10.
And even in the Primal Theory episode, when the madman's holding up the one guy so that they won't shoot him.
Just kidding.
Okay, guys, why don't you walk around him so you can surround him instead of just stay right there?
Or they shot him in the foot. Like, it is the most juvenile humor, and I'm loving it.
These guys were in
They're
a horror
scientists,
movie
dude.
and written like they were in a horror movie.
Oh, they were.
They are freaking scientists, man. They can't fight for real.
They certainly had a hard time shooting those guns, at least initially.
I mean, for all the brains that they had, man, trust me, they were not going to be able to shoot those weapons well, man.
Nope. A lot of good those brains did spilled on the floor.
That's a great man.
Boy, I was not expecting the sharp end of the wood part of the spear to manage to slice that dude's stomach.
Well,
it was
they used a primal weapon.
Entrails.
Yeah, that unrealistic level of violence. It was like hearkening to some of the more gruesome moments. Like, one sweep of my hammer slices these arms right off these monkey men. Like, okay, that's how that works. Exactly how that works. Sure, bone and sinew simply melt under your great strength.
That's absolutely. We're not made in abyss here. We're not breaking the bone so that we can chop the arm off.
I know.
No. It just puts the lotion on and does what it's told.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
funny.
how about that healthcare plan they got at in the Celtics village?
She beats him with the stick of flame or whatever it is, and she just keeps beating him, and then he screams at her and she screams at him back. I was like, that's how every doctor-patient relationship is.
Well, he found out how much the bill was
literal
going to be.
poop on his arm.
I forgot about that. Oh
Let's
my God.
the poop seep into the wound.
That's a nice way to get some sepsis.
That have medicinal properties. I wonder how much the bill was.
Holy shit, literally.
Dude, that's the reason why he started fussing, man. The bill.
He got the bill, yeah.
It'll probably cost him more than an arm and a leg.
CJ, come tell me you did not use some of these as puns, please. Tell me.
I did not use a single one of these as puns.
You disappoint. You disappoint. These would have
I'm
been
not
great
watching
puns.
Primal for puns. I watch it for the emotion. And bang. That's about it.
Wow, there's some really funny things in there.
Yes, but
when Spear's hanging out with the villagers and the little kid is like eyeing him and he makes a face at the kid and the kid's like, oh! It's like, hey, don't scare my kid.
Listen, I watch it for different reasons, I guess.
And
I don't pay
freaking
attention.
Fruits that made them drunk. They've been eating the fruit from that tree.
Not wrong.
Make Gohan drunk in the dead zone. Those apples aren't good for kids to eat. Or for dinosaurs. Like, I'm just going to eat them right off the ground.
I swear,
Forget
I forgot
about
the poop. I forgot about the poop she smeared on him. I thought that was mud. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe in my mind I told myself that was mud.
I mean, it's certainly mud, but I'm pretty sure there's fecal matter in there.
Hey.
Because that has medicinal values.
I don't want to think about it too hard. You know what? I don't want to think about
She doesn't want to think about that shit.
Well, it was a bunch of shit, though.
This healthcare plan's really shitty.
You get the shit end of the stick for real.
I don't know. I love my favorite thing was where she had the flayed burning stick and she was like beating him with it and he yells at her and she yells at him back.
Oh. Didn't Spear take a leak off the boat at one point?
Wait, what?
I'm pretty sure he did.
I don't remember that. Maybe I missed this. I need to go back and watch. God damn it, I feel like I missed stuff. I missed the shit.
I might be imagining that.
I think you're imagining that. And also now you started a really horrible pun that we can't get rid of.
I'm sorry, my head is just full of shit. That's the worst thing about that 4-letter word. You can use it in any context. You can add it to anything. That's how 4-letter words work.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this and thinking this is not child friendly, then you missed the warning at the beginning of the podcast.
There's always a warning.
We are not family friendly.
No.
And the one family friendly.
This is a TVMA show. People get eviscerated in this show.
Yeah.
Y'all need to go back and listen to some of the early day stuff, especially after the bleeps.
I will say, though, we haven't had an instance of dino dumping.
Really?
And I feel like this series is incomplete until that happens.
Oh, God. I think I can do without it, honestly.
You can do without it?
I could. Yes. I can say that with confidence.
Have confidence.
Sketch.
I don't know. My mind's in the shitter.
It is not to switch gears on the shitty things of Primal, but why don't you talk about your most amazing experience where you got to meet your heroes? Because I know everybody wants to hear about it. I do.
I got to meet my heroes in a half shell. All 4 of the OG cartoon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were in town for Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle, and that was appointments to be sure. My friend and I did a photo op with them, with all 4 of them, which was great, and I had them sign a DVD cover that actually. The voice of Raphael, Rob Paulson, was in town, I want to say 10 years ago at this point.
I've been Raphael for Halloween before.
Along with Maurice LaMarche and some other voice actors. He was in town before, so I had him sign that DVD case before. But I wanted to get a nice print with all the turtles on it and get that signed by all of them. So I did that, which was really cool. It's a great print. It's designed like the box art of the original toys, which I think is absolutely super nostalgic. So they all signed that. They signed the DVD cover, and I got to meet some other voice actors. I got to meet Gray Griffin / Gray Delisle. I got to meet Phil Lamar, who I did interview for TFP.
No shit.
Yes.
I heard so bad I missed that interview.
Aww.
I couldn't be on. No, like they couldn't get me on, man.
We couldn't make it.
No, don't even talk to me. You met Phil fucking Lamar. Are you kidding me?
I did, and the first thing I say to him, because he was quoting his character Ollie Williams from Family Guy, it's great. I said, yeah, well, you came at the right time to Seattle because it's been clear all week. He says, yeah, this is the least Ollie Williams week in Seattle history, probably. We had fun. So I had him. I got his autograph. I got Gray Delisle's autograph. If you don't know who Gray Delisle is,
then you're not
she's so many characters.
She is.
Including that bad bitch on Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Azula, right?
Azula, yeah. She's Azula.
Is the best. And she's the best. And she's also because you recognize the voice on the last season of Samurai Jack the most, I feel like. That's the most similar she does that voice, but yeah.
Yeah. And of course, she is also the current and long-standing voice of Daphne for Scooby-Doo projects. But she's been so many characters, so I made sure to get one of her
collage
prints with lots of characters on it. So that was great, and she gave me a hug. She was the only one that gave me a hug. Everybody else was really willing to handshake or high five or whatever, but she was the one giving out hugs.
Oh, I love that about her. She's been a lot of characters on Samurai Jack. I just did a quick search. She's done a lot. She was on Danny Phantom, Justice League. Holy crap.
Yeah, she's one of the voices of Catwoman.
Wow, she's got... I can't even. She's got such a long... But so I have one of those... I have a Phil Lamar autograph myself that a friend got me. He attended a Comic-Con in Okinawa and got one for me especially, and that's it has a place of pride in my anime art wall because it's
Okinawa as in Japan.
Yes, Okinawa, Japan.
Wow.
He was serving over there, and he went to a con, and he got me an autograph, and so it's so precious to me. I love you, Phil Lamar. If you're listening, I love you. Please let us interview you again. We could find other things to talk about, I'm sure.
Yes, to be sure. I told Marisa Martha the last time that I saw him in town, we were all hoping that Animaniacs and Futurama would maybe come back, and now they're both back. Yeah. And he said that they are recording on, that they're doing the first recording for Futurama. They did it earlier this week. So, it's rolling, baby. Looking forward to more Futurama, though I am a little concerned because there's diminishing returns. Let's be real here.
You have a real reason to be concerned, considering what's happening in the industry these days. But yes.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not get depressing.
I also got to meet Lava. Loud and very loud. That's the trio of Max Middleman, Ray Chase, and Robbie Damon. They were all very personable, great guys. They had a really fun panel where they played drama games. It was very fun. And maybe we'll be able to talk to some of them in the future. And 3 of the Straw Hats were there. And I had them sign a Straw Hat flag. And I had Colleen Clickebeard, voice of Luffy, sign my Luffy wanted poster that Kuro was so nice to get me.
Yay!
I figured that she would be super thrilled that I got it signed.
Thrilled. Did she like the wanted poster?
Oh yeah, she thought it was cool.
Yeah, she's a cool person.
She is super cool. She's super duper great. And the other two were Ian Sinclair, who is always a delight, and Mr. Sonny Strait, who I had sign my 2 Tom 1 Pops. And that was, it was kind of expensive, not going to lie, $60 to sign a pop. They had a whole thing at that convention. If you wanted a pop figure signed, it was quite the upcharge, which is, I wasn't going to get just one of the Toms signed.
Wow, it sounds like you had a really hell of a time there. Like, I'm very impressed. You had a really great time.
It was a good show. I mean, I went there specifically because the Ninja Turtles were going to be there, and then I found out 3 of the One Piece Straw Hats were going to be there. I was like, well, this is just, I have to be here. I have to be there. And I was. I think the panel selection was not as good as some conventions that I've gone to, but there was a pretty cool panel where 2 of the guys that worked on Transformers, Beast Wars, and Beast Machines talked about making that show, which I thought was really interesting. You know, being one of the earlier CGI animated TV series, Reboot being the first. Yeah, so that was good. I enjoyed the panel that Max Millman, Ray Chase, and Robbie Damon did, and some of the other panels. The Ninja Turtles panel was great. The One Piece panel was great. The One Piece panel, Ian Sinclair mentioned that he's been learning how to shoot a slingshot during COVID. And he said, hey, Sonny, I could teach you how to use a slingshot like Usopp.
Oh, my God.
That's So when Colleen left, because she needed to leave earlier, it's like, all right, now this is the slingshot panel.
Oh, my God. This sounds amazing. They didn't really keep
running with that. But,
I'm so sorry I didn't see this. This sounds amazing.
I think some of the panels are going to be streamed. So looking at Emerald City Comic Con, I think they have some of the videos up there. But yeah, it was super great. It was so cool to meet the other 3 Ninja Turtles because, like I mentioned, I've met Rob before. But I high-fived Michelangelo.
Hell yeah!
And attempted my the Tick impression because he is also the Tick.
Let's hear it.
Tick, I feel like I'm going crazy. No, Arthur, you're going sane in a crazy world. Spoon!
There you go.
That's amazing.
It's kind of the wildest thing to see this guy who's probably older than my father yell, "Cowabunga, dude!" All the Ninja Turtles have gray hair now.
Well, I mean, that's the only time when saying that was really appropriate. The Valley Boy and Girl language California stuff is out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't say tubular, cowabunga, radical.
Like, totally gag me with a spoon.
Oh, not that. That is... Oh, God.
I'm really sorry. I regret that a lot. I'm very
it's
sorry.
Okay. It's like, it's okay.
The
I understand.
Is so real.
Shaw, dude, yeah.
Poor CJ. I'm sorry, man. You gonna be okay over there, CJ?
He's already.
He's dead.
It's just. I was here for Primal, so like this is just like dragged on a little longer now.
Okay.
All right.
Let's wrap it up.
Anyway, yeah. Like as I put it in my tweet that I misspelled because I'm terrible at Twitter. They say don't meet your heroes, but these guys have never let me down.
I'm really happy that it worked out for you. That's really wonderful, Sketch. It sounds like you had an awesome time and you met some pretty awesome actors, and that's the kind of stuff, guys, that we can do and share and talk about and interview and show you if you subscribe to our Patreon. I'm just saying.
Public service announcement. I wore a mask pretty much all throughout that convention, and I didn't get sick.
That too.
I don't care what anybody says about masks. They work for me. That's for dang sure.
Also, subscribe to our Patreon.
Yes. Please do subscribe to our Patreon and our TikTok.
We have a TikTok?
We do now. What is it? Toonami Faithful Official on TikTok. All right. Yes. So if you have thoughts on Primal or anything else, you can email us at podcast@ToonamiFaithful.com. Please follow us on Facebook.com/ToonamiFaithfulPodcast and on Twitter @ToonamiPodcast. You can listen to this podcast and others on just about everything, including iTunes, Google Music, Spotify, and Amazon. And you can find every episode of the podcast you stream online at SoundCloud.com/Toonami Faithful Podcast. And you can get the latest news by following @Toonami News on Twitter and read the news, views, and reviews at ToonamiFaithful.com.
You do that a little too well now.
Well, I do it with a script so I don't mess up.
Don't tell people that.
You will take that out.
It's really bad when I don't have the script in front of me. I'm like, what was the, where are we? Like,
just spank your hand, bud.
It's bad. It's real bad. Also, another trick of the trade. I almost guarantee you, if I was trying to read that off and there was nobody else in the call, if I was just recording myself and nobody else was there, I would mess it up so many times.
Really? Because I feel like I do
what
worse.
It is. I don't know what it is, but if I have other people listening, I somehow don't make as many mistakes.
It is so the opposite for me. I make more mistakes when people are listening. When I practice by myself, it's perfect. And then I go and do it on the podcast, and I'm like, oh, I completely fucked that up. Awesome. Great job, Kuro.
Well, different strokes, different folks. Okay, I guess it's about time to get out of here. So, Kuro, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me fighting crime at night on the streets of your city. Name a city. I'm just kidding. I don't do that. CJ lies. You can find me on Twitter at HappyKuroKitty.
And CJ, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at CJ Maferis, and just doing our weekly This Week from Toonami stuff for at least now. I added stuff that comes our way, so we'll get to that. And I don't know, maybe we'll do reviews for Housing Complex C, maybe not. I don't know. Depends on a lot of things, but we'll figure something out for sure. But yeah, that's where you can find me. It's pretty much all that I do, really, besides working.
Where I find you.
Yeah, but just doing my thing, staying afloat, doing the best I can. That's for sure.
He's working very hard, everybody.
He does work hard.
Hard for the money.
So hard for the money. And Mr. Darrell, where can they find you?
And Jordan trying to get a girlfriend? No, seriously, you can find me at ukami_samurai7 at twitter.com. That's pretty much where I am most of these days.
Darrell's dating service can also be found at any of the Toonami Faithful sites.
Oh, no, don't do that, Kuro.
We're not bringing back Date Darrell.
Look here, you know what? Paul and Michelle's still on my shit list for that. They are eternally on the shit
list. Where's Date Sketch? Sketch is lonely.
Oh, what? Sketch, you're the best. I don't know who wouldn't want to be. Come on.
I mean, you're so lovable, Sketch.
You are lovable.
Yeah, most people determine that once they get to know me.
You're just so lovable, babe. And so cuddly.
Our guys are the best guys, and our non-binary people are the best non-binary people. And our cats are the best cats. I'm just saying.
Yeah, dang right.
And our ladies aren't good? Is that what you're saying, Kuro?
Oh, our ladies are the best.
We do have ladies. I'm so sorry. Our ladies are boss. What? Our ladies are boss. I just forgot, because I think Celia, and now she's gone, and I'm really sad about it. But yes, we have boss ladies. This is true.
Mm-hmm. And you can find me on Twitter at Sketch1984. That's pretty much it. Well, I was recently on another Surreal Resolutions podcast, O&A, talking about the current anime season. A little late, but we talked about it. Talked about the few good shows to watch and a whole lot of trash.
Hey, it's fun to talk trash.
Oh, well, absolutely. I definitely consume trashy anime.
We all do. If you say you're not, you're lying.
Iki Tosin.
It's very fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you for listening each and every time we put out a podcast. And until next time, we're punching out.
Deuces!